Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Um, welcome this evening. It's so good to be back. We're not live last week, but it's good to be back this evening with episode 9 of Made for Exports. It's so good to have you here joining us this evening. It has been a rainy week in Lagos, Nigeria, where I'm joining you from. How has the weather been in your own city? Where are you joining me from? Thank you for joining this evening. So it's episode 9 of Made for Exports. Made for Exports is an initiative of Fortress 20 Global to showcase value-added products from Africa. So there are so many value-added products from Africa, but most of them are not getting the attention they are supposed to be getting. And that's what we are doing, making sure that we promote value-added exports from Africa. And our aim is to connect suppliers to buyers for direct purchases and distributorship opportunities, to ensure that you, the buyer, get authentic and good quality products, and to give you an opportunity to leverage bulk buying or white labeling opportunities where they are available. Ultimately, our goal is to showcase value-added products so that we can establish market linkages and access for them. That way you get excellent products. The entrepreneurs from Africa who are adding value to their products also get a good market share, and they are encouraged to continue adding value to their products. For a long time, what we have done in Africa is to export our products raw and then import the finished products. And we did a lot of complaining about this, and some people have taken the bulls by the horn and they have started processing some of these raw materials from Africa. And those are the people that we are showcasing on Made for Exports. My guest this evening, okay, I'm waiting for her to join me, but it's going to be an interesting one this evening on Made for Exports. Okay, I don't see her just yet. I'm sure she'll join me shortly. But in the interim, where are you joining me from? How has the weather been in your city? It has been raining in Lagos. Okay, I see her now. She's in already. Let me just bring her in. See, in the last 1 week, Lagos has been very wet, very, very wet. Uh, my guest is in already. Okay, Jumoke, I see you. Jumoke is joining us from Port Harcourt. I'm sure Port Harcourt will be very wet too. I don't think there's any other place that competes with Lagos like Port Harcourt when it comes to the rain. Um, okay. My guess, I'm just trying to get her in. Okay, Zella Exports is joining me from Lagos. Yeah, I know that Lagos has been very wet. I'm just waiting for my guest to come in. I'm sure she'll come in shortly. I have. Yeah, Port Harcourt is wet. Port Harcourt can be a wet city. Ah, you don't want to be in Port Harcourt when it's raining. It can be a really wet city. Okay. So my guess is trying to get in. Uh, why am I not seeing her just here? Okay. Okay, she's trying to call me. Let's see. I can see you. I can see you, ma. I'm just trying to get you in. I don't know why it's taking a long time to get you in, but I'm trying to get you in. Uh, okay.
Wow,
Yes.
finally, oh my God. It has been such a Herculean task to join.
Yes, yes. So just breathe in and breathe out. Yeah,
Well, thank you so
welcome.
much for having me.
Yeah, welcome. Yeah, welcome. I know that Instagram has tried to show you today.
As in,
Um,
I got locked out of my business page. So, and because I'm out of the country, I'm not able to get it back because I'm trying to send a message to the line, WhatsApp line, to confirm that I can, Anyway, lots, too many stories.
yeah,
But I'm glad to
I'm
be
so
here.
I'm so glad that you can join me this evening despite all the challenges. You are very welcome. Okay, so good evening, everyone. My guest is here. I was just telling them that you are almost here and you are here already. And I'll just introduce her to you so that we can go ahead with the live today. So my guest today is Vivyen Ayodele-Bamisaye. She's the founder and CEO of Macaurius Ville Dates and Foods Limited. It's an agro-processing company on a mission to elevate African superfoods onto the global stage. With a background in engineering and project management, she blends technical expertise with visionary leadership to drive innovation in the food industry. She's passionate about fostering positive change. Her commitment to ethical sourcing and sustainability defines MacariusVille's ethos. Under her guidance, the company pioneers new standards in quality and social responsibility, promoting healthier food options while empowering local communities. Her dedication to advancing the food landscape reflects her belief in transformative potential of purpose-driven entrepreneurship. Through Macauriusville, she endeavors to showcase Africa's rich culinary heritage to the world, one nutritious superfood at a time. Yeah, welcome, man. It's our pleasure to have you here this evening. Kindly go to the comments and welcome my guests. Thank you for joining us this evening. How are you doing, Ma?
Thank you so much. It's totally my pleasure. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the opportunity to, just basically share about our journey. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
yeah, welcome, Ma. Okay, so let's talk about you first, then we'll talk about Macaurius Ville. Tell us a bit about your background, what you studied in the university, like everything that led up to here.
Okay, so I studied computer engineering. Actually, I had the opportunity to work, in several organizations in project management and computer engineering for over 15 years, thereabouts, or almost 20 years. Before I always use the word stumbled on this whole healthy eating journey, healthy foods, agro processing journey.
Hmm.
Um, so I studied in Enugu State University. I have an MBA from the University of Cumbria in the UK. All that was basically to just climb the corporate ladder
Hmm.
until a few years. We used to live in Lagos, so that's how I started. We used to live in Lagos, and I was working with a credit bureau at that time. In fact,
Hmm.
the Pioneer Credit Bureau in Nigeria at the time, and my husband got a job in Abuja and had to leave Lagos.
Hmm.
So I told my boss then that I had to resign to go join my husband. So like it was like, oh no, 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 that I should come and set up a branch of the company in Abuja. Now,
Yeah.
credit bureau, we deal with banks. So our business was basically with banks, and the decision-making bodies were usually in the head office. So coming to Abuja was basically to start up, having like a microfinance banks, because we were basically keeping data of borrowers. That's what the
Hmm.
credit bureau does. We keep data of borrowers, so that when they go somewhere else to borrow, you have a history of their behavior with credit, so that they can be trusted and given further credit. So the plan was I would, go and set up um, with the microfinance banks. But unfortunately, as soon as we landed Abuja, all the insecurity with Boko Haram started, because I was going to cover all the north, all the way to Sokoto, Jigawa, all those
Hmm.
northern places. So because of that, I wasn't able to move around. So after
Hmm.
about 6 to 8 months, I was it was as if I was redundant in Abuja. So they said, okay, come back to Lagos. So I had to keep shuttling between Lagos and Abuja for close to 2 years,
Wow.
before I said to myself, this is not working. I'll just resign the job and trust God for something to happen. And that was when my journey as an agro processor started. Um, Before this time, I'd had a history of both parents having been diabetic. And also on
Hmm.
my husband's side, they didn't eat sugar at all. So, because of that history, I was very deliberate about not eating processed sugar.
Hmm.
So, just about the time when I resigned, I came back. I was trying to lose weight. So, I read somewhere online that instead of eating chocolate when you crave something sweet, have a date fruit. And that was
Hmm.
my first time of tasting dates in 20, that was like in 2014, 2015, thereabouts. And I was like, oh, this thing is so sweet. How can I turn it into something that I can, use to drink my pap? Because so for some reason, I was craving pap so much. And I like to drink my pap, really, really sweet and very rich. So I started using the dates as a sweetener in my pap at home for a while.
Hmm.
In fact, we just converted it to our sweetener. And we're doing that at home for close to 2 years. Close to 2 years.
Wow.
When someone visited, in fact, it was my younger sister. She came, she spent the night, and she said, oh, we had pap and akara for breakfast the next day. So she was like, give me sugar. I was still laughing at her. I said, you're still eating sugar. And when you know what our parents went through with that, I said, we don't eat sugar anymore. This is what we eat. And she was like, oh, wow, why don't you sell this thing? It's so nice. And that was how the journey started.
Hmm.
And today, today it has, become something that even I sometimes am amazed at how far we've come and how far God has helped us. And yeah, so that's basically it. The way we're using it at home, it was clear that it wasn't going to scale in that form.
Hmm.
So I had to find a way to make it in a stable form, in a stable manner, that it could have a long enough shelf life to actually be sold, in supermarkets and other places. Yeah, I think I've told a very long story.
Wow, that's so lovely. I always say that for women-owned businesses, right? When you ask the story behind the product, there's always like a story. There's always like something that has to do with the family or something. It's not it's not typically we wanted to make money. It's typically we wanted to solve a problem or we were trying to get something done. That's what typically happens. So when did you formalize the business? You said that you discovered that the way you do it at home could not be, it wasn't sustainable for the market. So,
Mhm.
at what point did you decide this thing? Let's make it a business, and then you now gave it a name. When did you eventually come to that point?
So that point, we that started in 2018 actually. So what happened was, as soon as my sister said that, and I was like, oh, that's true. And remember that at this point, I was in between jobs. Yes, I was looking out for a job. I wasn't doing
Hmm.
anything serious. So I will say I had the time on my hands, and it was like an adventure. Okay, so something new to do. That was in 2018. So what we did, the first thing we did was, we were using it as a paste at home. So in
Okay.
fact, my husband and his colleagues at the office were the guinea pigs. So I gave him a few cups of the paste. But if you see the initial packaging was it was crazy. So I gave him a few cups of the paste. So he took it to the office. Some of them even forgot to use it, and it went bad in less than a
Hmm.
day or two. So I started looking at how could I make it in a dry form so that it actually looks like sugar. And that was the date powder at that time. And so when he took it to his office, the people who got the powder had a beautiful experience and said, Oga, bring that thing again, we want more. So that's when we began to know
Hmm.
that, okay, there's potential in this thing. People actually like it. I would want it. All that happened between 2018 and 2019. We eventually registered the company in 2021, and it became a more formal business. One thing that spurred us on was the fact that people were asking. The first set
Hmm.
of people who got it as a free taster, those who had that paste before it fermented were like, "Oh, this thing is nice." Some it got fermented before they could even use it, but those who got it as a powder from the onset were really impressed, and they kept asking for more. So that was how we knew that, okay, this thing could actually work. And then as we went on, we found that people now kind of associated us with healthy stuff. So they knew that dates were healthy. So they would ask, oh, don't you have like a milk, something that I can use to replace the milk? Don't you have like you don't have granola, like a healthier snack, So the ideas for other products began to come because of the feedback and the response from people who tried the free tasters, from the
Hmm.
onset. So we formalized, to answer your question, formalized business in 2021, and began to look closely at just shelf stable products that could have like a shelf life of at least between 6 to 18 months, and that
Hmm.
was how we went on. Yeah.
Wow. Lovely. The first time I tasted it, I thought that it was too sweet, right? So I didn't go back to it. I just felt, this thing is too sweet until I tasted it in powder form. And in powder form, it was okay, right? When you add it to your pap, like you said, or you add
Mm-hmm.
it to to oats. Very
Oh,
lovely,
yes, very
right?
low.
And that was like, in fact, powder was when I started to think about it. As dates itself, I didn't particularly
Like,
like it. Yeah. So when you started, how many products did you start? You started with powder.
okay, yes. So powder was,
Okay.
we started with powder. Somehow each product has a story of how we added. So right now we have 8 products. We started with
Okay.
the powder, yeah. The next one was the granola. There was a lady
Okay.
who we encountered. She loved the powder. She was like, "Oh, she spent so much on granola that don't I have a healthy granola?" So I went to Google how to make granola,
Granola.
and I came up with the idea of having a granola that had bits of dates, and then also not baked in honey, because I also found out about the date syrup. So I started making, so the date syrup and date granola kind of came up together at the same time.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So as that went on, I began to stumble upon mothers with children, children on the autism spectrum, who were looking for alternatives, particularly for milk, lactose. They didn't want anything that
Hmm.
had lactose, dairy-free milk. And so they loved date powder. They were like, "Oh wow, that this is something that is good for the children." So they were buying it, and they were now asking me for other things.
Hmm.
So I now started thinking, tiger nut, how can I turn it, make it into a powder that people can also use? And that was how the tiger nut powder was born. You know,
Hmm.
yeah. And then the after tiger nut powder, we now had the date bites. So date bites is a biscuit, basically. I wanted to
Hmm.
create a biscuit or a snack. So I like to snack. A snack
Hmm.
that had no gluten, that's wheat. It didn't have wheat flour. That had
Hmm.
no milk, so it was lactose free. That had no
Hmm.
added sugar, so we used dates as a sweetener. So and that was the mix how we came up with the date bites. It's a really delicious biscuit, something I can snack on without any, and it was also vegan because we didn't have any eggs or any animal products in the date bites. So like I said, all of
Hmm.
it was like just trying to create. Our motto is really to give people healthy alternatives. You know,
Hmm.
so for every product there was that mindset of, okay, how can I create something that if when you eat it, if you look at all the various things that people try to avoid, they are not in it, but they are also very delicious and good to eat. Now, the need for a gluten-free flour was what birthed the sweet potato flour, which is also one of our
Okay.
products. Yeah, we're looking
Okay.
at, in fact, during COVID, let me even back up. One of the, well, all of that also came up was from the fact that when we started date powder, no, most people had never seen it. They didn't know what it was. They didn't know how to use it. So I would have to explain and explain and explain. This is what you can bake with it. You can do this. You can do that. So, and I said, okay, let me even try this baking. I'm saying, let me even try baking with it. So
Hmm.
I started baking a banana bread, but I wanted it to be gluten free, and I needed like flour that was locally sourced. So
Hmm.
I dried sweet potato, and I used the sweet potato and the dates as the sweetener with banana, and started making banana bread. Now during COVID,
Wow.
that 2020 period, that was like our best selling product, our banana dates and banana bread, and it was gluten free, of course sugar free, no added sugar, just the dates, with fresh banana. It was really really delicious. So that was how the sweet potato flour was born. And then I found that you could also eat it as well. It was really light. It was just like amala,
Hmm.
you know,
Hmm.
and it was really light. It was really lovely, and so that's how that product line also came about. Because who ask me how come you have so many products? It's just that each one was born out of not a desire to have many products, but just because something led to it, and it stays. And today, sincerely, all of them are doing very well on their own as a product line. That's the truth.
Hmm.
The
Hmm.
the only the only challenge we have is that they are new, They are not like your typical Nigerian product. So it takes a while for the market to, you know,
Accept
will I
them.
say, embrace it,
Hmm.
begin to, buy it, very fast. So we can't really consider ourselves as an FMCG yet, but we are getting there. There's more
Hmm.
awareness. There's a lot more interest, in even trying the products. And right now, I'm really glad that you can enter into any shop now and you point to date powder and you understand what it is. That was not the case
Yeah.
when we started. That was so not the case.
Okay. So you have how many products now? You said 8 products.
Yes, we have 8 products. We have date powder, date
Okay.
granola, tiger nut powder, sweet potato flour. We also do finger millet. That one is
Okay.
another story. Finger millet, I don't know if you know it, it's a nutrient dense, very tiny grain. It's called tamba in the north. And
Okay.
that simply came up because I had my father living with me. Remember, I said he was diabetic from like
Yeah.
forever, from like before I could remember. And then someone told me about that grain that was very good for regulating blood sugar. And so
Hmm.
I started using it for my father, and I saw the
Hmm.
difference. He was
Hmm.
living with me. He passed on last year at 84, and I saw
Wow.
the difference of when he eats it at night, because he would insist on eating swallow at night.
Swallow.
He would not eat anything else other than swallow at night. So when I give him tamba to eat at night, the next morning, because we had to test his blood sugar like 3 times every day, because he was injecting insulin twice a day. So we have to do
Hmm.
a fasting blood sugar first thing in the morning. And I could see the
Hmm.
difference in his blood sugar. So I would tell people, when people ask me about healthy stuff, and they mention diabetes, I would like, just go and look for tamba and buy. They'll say, are you not selling it? Why don't you sell it? And that was how tamba entered our product line. So we started offering it
Hmm.
to people as well. So that tamba is one of our products, and then of course our tiger nut drink. Now that's another story. When we started making the tiger nut powder, I I was trying to get people to understand that yes, you can also make the popular kunuaya, they call it in the north, tiger nut drink, from the powder, but
Hmm.
they didn't seem to think it was possible. So I said, okay, let me even try it, and we did it, and we started selling it. And people were like, oh, this is different. Why is the color? And I said, it is from this powder. So it now gave people, at least for those who were not looking for a lactose-free milk, who just
Hmm.
wanted to have an easier means of making the tiger nut drink, it now gave them an opportunity to see that, oh, this thing can actually make the tiger nut drink and it tastes great. It's really beautiful. So those are our 8 products. Yes.
Wow. Wow. Well done.
Thank you.
Uh, well done. Okay, so your raw materials, is it easy to source your raw materials? Are they available locally?
Yes, our raw materials are available locally.
Hmm.
However, for the dates in particular, so the sweet potato, the finger millet, easily, readily available locally.
Hmm.
However, when we started the business, we realized that over 85% of the dates that we see in Nigeria are actually imported from neighboring African countries, from Niger,
Hmm.
from Tunisia, from Algeria, you know. So it was clear to us that um, since we have created a whole value chain around dates, there will be a need for us to begin to plant dates commercially in Nigeria.
Hmm.
Incidentally, Nigeria is the only country in the world where you can actually harvest dates twice a year. All these other countries,
Wow.
even the countries in the Middle East, they only have one harvest. We have the
Hmm.
right climate. Yes, we have the right climate, the right conditions to harvest twice a year, which we already do as we speak in Jigawa. However, is in small quantities. There's
Hmm.
no concerted effort. There's no like structured, means where dates are being planted. So we started some kind of advocacy, speaking
Hmm.
to some government agencies that we felt had the power to influence that space. Because the truth is that as we speak, because of what we have created over the years with dates, that whole value chain, there's so much that we can do with dates in particular. Because if you notice, our name is Macaurius Ville Dates. That's where we started
Yeah.
from. Um,
Hmm.
was later that we realized that, oh, okay, there's so much more. We now incorporated as Macaurius Ville Dates and Foods Limited. So
Hmm.
yes, we get the tiger nuts, the dates locally, but most of it is coming from neighboring countries. Most of it's coming from
Hmm.
neighboring countries, and one of our dreams, but we have a vision of having 100 million date palm trees across the entire what they call the date belt in Nigeria. There's the Jigawa, the whole Kano area. All that area we can actually grow dates in
Wow.
large commercial exportable quantities.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay, so whoever is a dates farmer or whoever is thinking about commercially farming dates,
Yeah.
there's a date belt in Nigeria that is looking for you to plant the dates in Nigeria so that you can
Yes.
strengthen
Yes.
the dates value chain.
Yes.
Okay, so for your processing, do you require like special machinery for your processing? You've talked about 8 products. The machines you use, are they sourced locally or you import those machines?
So the machine we use are basically all imported. That's true. So when I
Mm,
started, because of the way I started, I stumbled on some people that said, "Oh, they can fabricate a dehydrator for me. They can fabricate this," and at the end of the day, it was a waste of money. So
mm,
right now, all the machines that we use are all imported.
mm.
They are not too specialized. The only specialized machine that I would say is special to us is the date spitting machine. But the others are
Okay,
basically the dryers and the milling machines, and of course
okay,
packaging machines, which you
okay,
can use for other products basically. Yeah.
okay, okay. Lovely stuff. Let's talk quality, right? How do you ensure that the products are good quality all the time? So we know how it is in Nigeria. I buy the product today, it's very lovely. In fact, when they first launch, the product is always
Mm.
very lovely. And then
Mhm.
after some time, the quality starts to decline. So are there any certifications you are required to have? Do you source in a particular location for consistency of taste? Like, how do you maintain quality so that my experience is a good experience every time I take the date?
Okay, so for us, excellence is not negotiable. Not
Hmm.
negotiable. We pride on ourselves on the fact that we have some customers that have been buying from us since 2018. Since
Wow.
2018, we have maintained them since that time, and that's simply because, um, like you said, standardization, making sure that whatever you buy the product today is the same quality when you buy it tomorrow. So what we did from the onset is, of course, from when we started, I was doing everything. I was like everything until we grew big enough to hire to get some, women who come in, um, maybe when I have a large order. So I
Hmm.
started training them. I started training them
Hmm.
to know, so they know the things that are not, you can't even try it. You can't, there's a no-go area, particularly with
Hmm.
respect to hygiene, and taking something and then you're eating sand. No, that is not that cannot work at all around us. And then of course we know the certifications required, NAFDAC. We also went through the process of getting HACCP, the hazard
Yeah.
analysis critical control points certification. was
Yeah.
quite a rigorous one. So, for me, it was just even a testament of the fact that the things that we had been doing over the years, we had been doing the right things.
Hmm.
We had been doing the right things, basically because I wanted to make sure that at any time, customer will never complain about our product. So, just transferring that culture. So, for each new staff, transferring that culture of non-negotiable excellence.
Hmm.
You cannot put something and it's bending, or you are coming to do something, your hands are not washed. No, no, no. Non-negotiable. So that
Hmm.
culture is transferred. And then for raw materials, we have a specific species of dates that we use to maintain, so that you
Hmm.
have that consistent flour taste and date powder taste that you want. So we have a specific species that
Okay.
gives you what you want. So we maintain that species. Um, and also basically, because of the culture we have created, as we have grown, our staff have been able to, give feedback. And remember, one of the processes that I'm really grateful to God for is our tiger nut processing. Tiger nut comes with a lot of sand. A lot. But many
Hmm.
people want that, and they're like, no, 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 that they've tried this thing before. It always has sand. I said, please just try my own. Please just try my
Hmm.
own. And they keep coming back. So, and I
Hmm.
must say, I must commend my staff. They came up with a process of washing the tiger nut that ensures that there's no sand. I started
Hmm.
them on a particular path, and then they said, Madam, let's do it, like, let's add this step to the process. And
Hmm.
since then, we've never had a complaint of sand in our tiger nut. So those are the what will I say, the standard. So anyone who comes in, any new staff, any new, has to work within the processes that were put in place. So we have the
Yeah.
processes in place, and then because of HACCP, because of having to go through HACCP, there's some things that need to be documented every single day, because an
Hmm.
audit is going to happen, and we need to make sure we have everything in place for that audit. So it also even helped us to strengthen what we're already doing, but now doing it in a more structured, and documenting. Yes, that's the word.
Hmm.
Documenting those processes.
Hmm.
Documenting all the various areas that that need to be audited as time goes on. So that's how we maintain, the standard.
Wow, lovely. So that means you have an SOP. Of course, for NAFDAC, for HACCP, you have to have an SOP in
Yes.
place so that anyone who comes up can always follow that SOP to
Mm-hmm.
be able to achieve the quality, even if you are not on ground
Yes.
in the factory.
Factory.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Yes. Okay, so let's talk about the price of raw materials. I wanted to
Mm.
buy eggs today,
Ah.
and then when the lady told me the price, I was like, "Kilo shele," you know. So prices of raw materials have been unstable, right? How has this impacted your business? How many times have you changed prices in the last 3 months? Let's say 3 months.
Um, in the last 3 months, just once. So one thing
Okay.
for us is a little bit difficult to just change prices that frequently.
Hmm.
Um, the price of dates for us has kind of, we have a particular vendor that we buy from, and somehow we've been able
Hmm.
to, at least the price since January, between let's say December and now, December last year and now, he has helped us to maintain that price. So we haven't
Hmm.
changed much, particularly with the date powder and other things that have dates as input.
Hmm.
But the truth is that the prices are crazy. In fact, the one that is so amazing is even the one that is just within our backyard, sweet potato. It just keeps going higher and higher and higher. So
Hmm.
at least for sweet potato, we have had to change at least Yeah, this is the third time in the last 4 months we've had to change price of sweet potato flour.
Hmm.
So it
Hmm.
is a challenge. It is an issue, but we just tell ourselves we keep moving and we keep trusting God because there's no going back. You
Yeah.
cannot go back. You
Yeah.
have come too far. You have come too far. You cannot go back. And the truth is, what I find is that those who need these things and know why they need it, they go ahead and buy no matter the price. Also, when they know that you are not just exploiting them, what it is what it is
Hmm.
that's the case, and there's not much you can do about it. And they are getting the quality. In fact, something happened a few days ago. A lady who had been buying from us, suddenly she stopped for
Hmm.
almost a year. She stopped buying. So a few days ago, she chatted me up that please, she needs this. That can I give her at a certain price? So I said, okay, I'll give you since you are coming back after such a long time. I wasn't going to make too much from it, but I said, so I now asked her, so what happened? Apparently, where she had been buying from, because she uses it, so she uses the date powders for something else like baking and stuff. And her customers are complaining of sand.
Hmm.
So because of that, she said, okay, let her come back to where she was getting it without having these issues.
Hmm.
So for me, it was just
Hmm.
a testament of, how keeping quality can, keep bring people back to you, because she knows that
Bye bye.
the time she was buying from me, she was not experiencing sand. But now
Hmm.
she's even losing customers because they say your baking now has sand in it. So she had
Hmm.
to revert back. So it's at the end of the, like I have this belief that who people that need this thing will buy it at whatever price. And I'm not going to exploit anybody because I see that you need to buy it, so you are coming to buy from me. As much as possible, it has been clear to me from the onset that our products are not your regular everyday products. They are not stuff that people are generally used to. So anybody who's making the effort to come and to buy this product is someone who needs it, who recognizes it, and who
Hmm.
discerning minds, basically. Discerning minds, people who know this is what I want, this is what I need for my body, and are ready to go ahead and get it. So I will not, there's no point putting a price that makes it, really outrageous, as long as we can, keep our business sustainable in the long
Yeah.
term. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's we
Yeah.
just do
So
with that. Yeah.
yeah, so sustainability, like you mentioned, is
Mm.
critical. I think everybody goes to the market, so we all, and that's why I told you about my experience today. We all see how the prices are moving, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then someone during the course of the week, someone was even asking me a question. I was in a meeting, the person was asking a question about how if prices go up, then should they drop quality so that they can stay competitive? And we're like, no, you shouldn't drop quality because people are going to find out that you've dropped
You
quality
drop the
and you're
quality,
going
yeah.
to lose them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if you increase the price, you might lose them. But if you drop quality, you will
You
definitely lose them.
lose them,
So
yeah. Yeah.
either way, it's
Mm-hmm.
just to stick with the quality. If you have any questions for my guest, please drop them in the comments so that she can answer them as we go on. We have run the business formally since 2018. Are there any mistakes that you feel that you've made in the journey of running this business?
Um, One thing I tell new entrepreneurs that meet me is I wish someone had told me from day one to keep my records, because I would have a
Hmm.
yes, I would have had a richer history,
Hmm.
to look back at. And I see
Hmm.
that when you are in the course of this journey, when you are applying for things, all these like grants and opportunities, they want to see a track record. So imagine if I had a track record of from like 2018. the story
Hmm.
would be different. So, and that's one advice. If there's one advice I wish someone had given me from the onset is keep your records. And I even learned along the way that it doesn't even cost money. They're free. They're free. Like when I use Zoho books, I used it free for more than up to 2 years before I now had to move on to the paid version. So
Hmm.
you record your expenses, record your sales, you know so, and then so you have like a rich data of, you have your customer list, you have, you can know, how much a customer has spent on you. If you want to do like loyalty rewards, you
Hmm.
have, you have rich data to work with. So that's
Hmm.
one I don't want to call it a mistake, something I wish I knew from the onset. Another one was the monies I spent on those locally fabricated machines that eventually did not I wasn't able to use. They're just sitting down there, wasted. And I'm also glad, because when I started, I didn't have like huge sums to just sink into the business.
Hmm.
We bootstrapped from the onset. So whatever I sold, I put back into the business. Whatever we sold, we put back into the business. So it made us very prudent. So
Hmm.
we were very prudent with our finances, because in fact then I used to tell myself that whatever is happening, I need to have enough money to buy the next set of dates to process, no matter what's
Hmm.
going on. So as I'm selling, I'm keeping money. I'm making sure that, I can buy the next bag of dates when we're still buying, one bag or two bags. What am I saying? Two bags, half a bag. We're buying like in a few moodles, like that. So that's one advice. If there's any young entrepreneur here, start keeping your records. And Zoho is a fantastic tool for doing that, and it's free. Or whatever else
Hmm.
you feel you can use. So start keeping your records from day one. And it also keeps you accountable. It helps you to set goals. So if you're able to
Hmm.
track that, okay, this month I sold um 20,000 naira, for instance.
Hmm.
You can give yourself a target. Okay, I want to sell 100 or 60,000 naira by next month. As
Hmm.
you've done the first week, the second week, you can see how much you've sold, so that you know how much work you need to do to hit your target. Sometimes you may
Hmm.
not hit that exact figure, but it keeps you motivated, it keeps you pushing, because you have something ahead of you. You work towards
Yeah.
it. So that's one thing
Yeah.
that record keeping, really does for you. And then on the expense side, you can see where the money is going. You
Hmm.
can now look at areas where you can reduce your cost, look at areas where you can, reduce expenses to make sure that you remain profitable,
Hmm.
basically. So that's one area that I wish I knew from day one. That would have made a world of difference for me.
Hmm. Hmm. New entrants into business, please keep your records. Telling you from experience now. I know that when it comes to grants and some opportunities, a lot of people miss them because they don't have records. There
Mhm.
isn't anything. Some people have been in business for years, and there isn't anything to show that you have
Yes.
been in business for years. So it's absolutely necessary to keep records. Okay, so what are some of the challenges? I know you're in supermarkets now, but what are some of the challenges that you have encountered in selling your product locally and even exporting them?
Hmm. So locally, the first challenge was the access to the supermarket, access to just will I call it belief in Nigerian brand. I remember when I
Product.
started taking products to supermarkets, it was particularly challenging. One, because of the kind of product. First of all, they didn't
Hmm.
they didn't know what it was. I had to explain, and then when they eventually accept it, they will say SOR. SOR simply means they only pay you when they've sold it.
Yeah.
Now,
Sales and
yeah, now,
return.
yes. the next challenge was that when they now take it, even the merchandising it was a challenge because it was new, and so I have to keep explaining this is exactly like sugar. Just place it around where you have sweeteners. Some will go and put it beside curry at time they think it's a spice, And also I went through all of that, until we're now at a point where they are recognizing, so they see this product, okay, like it's a sweetener. So that's for supermarket.
Mm,
So that's holding onto your money. And some of them are so
mm,
bad that they will sell the products. Even when they finish selling, they will not pay. They will not
mm,
pay for the products that had been sold. They'll sell you
mm,
SOR, but even when they finish selling, you keep coming, you keep making phone calls, you keep, so that was one of the initial challenges. But one thing that helped us surmount it was we're still doing our own retail sales online. So somehow the cash flow was not affected because we would
mm,
always have people buying directly from us. And then with their money, we're running until we get money from supermarkets that we're owing. Over the years, what we've now done is to do like a weeding out of those ones with a very bad reputation of just giving you a lot of headaches to get your money back. So
mm,
I've just
mm,
weeded them out. I don't bother with it. If they call me, I just tell them you have to buy it, and I'm not going to be chasing you for money. So
mm,
that's a big challenge, and it's something that I wish I am hoping that there will be some advocacy to get supermarkets in Nigeria to stock made in Nigerian products. Which is that
mm,
there's no my little in the entrepreneurial ecosystem right now. There's no product that comes into the country from anywhere that there's not someone who's doing it already and doing it very well too. Doing it very
mm,
well packaged, that can stand toe to toe with any product anywhere in the world. And that's the
mm,
truth. So if there can be some advocacy from the government to enforce that. Let at least each supermarket at least 25-30% should just be Nigerian products from
product.
MSMEs. Yeah, that's something that will also make it easier on Nigerian businesses, to have our products on the shelf. So that's like the major challenge I would say that I'll say we have faced. On the export side, um, access to markets really. Getting distributors in other countries
Mm,
is a challenge. In our own case, I keep on saying peculiarly our products. As we speak, I'm in the US and I've gone round to a number of supermarkets and I've not seen date powder. I've not seen
powder.
that kind of products. So for me, I'm like, is this a good thing or is it a bad is it a bad thing? Because yes, I want to come in here. What kind of work would it take me to bring to create that awareness for people to actually see this thing on the shelf and pick it up? Because that's what supermarkets
Mm,
want. You see it, you
mm,
recognize it, you know what you do with it, you buy it,
mm,
and you keep on buying. So that has always been an area of what I call it a challenge. Is a blue ocean, yes, but getting to a point where you actually benefit from that blue ocean is the real hard work. Is real work.
mm,
So
mm.
that's basically the challenge, I would say.
Okay, okay, okay. Well done. With all of the work that you are doing, and for the supermarkets, I know that some other people that have come on have also mentioned the issue of the supermarket holding on to money,
Mhm.
not wanting to accept made in Nigerian products.
Yes.
I know that as we go forward, we'll definitely do better.
Mm.
The awareness will get better as we speak about it. Because if we don't speak about it, then people really don't know, and the people
Mhm.
who are able to make policies won't know that there's a policy somewhere around there that needs to be made.
Yeah.
For those that want to distribute your products, do you offer distributorship opportunities? I know that in Nigeria, you're in Abuja,
Yeah.
you have distributors in Lagos or other parts of Nigeria. Are there distributorship opportunities available?
Oh yes, yes, there are. We are still growing. I don't like to call myself a small business. I call myself a growing
Business,
business.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So we're open to distributors. Anyone
yeah.
who's interested can get in touch. And the thing with us, because we're growing, we're not like all those large companies where they say, "Oh, yeah, come and deposit 5 million naira to get products." So we're still in the growth phase. So we're open to work with as many people as are willing to distribute the products. We're
Hmm.
open. Yeah.
Okay, so for as many people who want to distribute the products, they have she currently has 8 products. Dates based, tiger nut products,
Potato,
finger
yes.
millet, sweet potato products. Just follow her on her IG, MacariusVille. That's your IG, right?
Yes, let me just type it in.
Okay. Okay, so just follow her on IG if you are interested in distributing her products in and outside of Nigeria. Um, Opportunities are available for distributorship. White labeling. Do you offer white labeling? That's private labeling now, or souvenirs. If someone is, I know that when you go for weddings, you see some of these products. Someone is
Mm-hmm.
getting married, and they package. Are those services that you offer?
Oh,
And
oh yeah.
bulk packaging. So if I wanted something outside the normal sizes, let's say I want 5 kg or 10 kg, are those opportunities you offer?
Oh yes, yes. So we are open to white labeling. We currently do
Yeah.
that for some people.
Okay.
Also, for like talked about wedding souvenirs, we've actually been pushing that a lot in Abuja for weddings,
Okay.
for corporate events. We package the date. If you want the powder, if you want the granola, if you want if you even want the dates itself, the whole dates, we can do that for
Mm,
you. Yeah. So that's
mm,
available.
mm. Okay. 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 That's lovely. That's lovely. So I don't know if anyone has questions. No one has dropped a question yet. But if anyone has a question, please drop your questions before she signs off this evening. Um,
Oh,
thank you.
I see a question here.
Okay.
Yeah, it says, is it possible to use date powder instead of sugar for popcorn? Yes, I would say a big yes to that because I remember as far back as 2019, we went to a secondary school where we used to
Hmm.
do a lot of trade fairs. In fact, that was how we started selling our product. We used to go for practically every weekend, we were at some trade fair or the other. So we had a
Hmm.
child who the parents just bought the date powder and were sharing popcorn for children. So she just carried the date powder and poured all over his popcorn and ate it. So yes, it's possible to do that. It's possible to use date powder instead
Okay.
of sugar for popcorn.
Oh wow. Oh wow. That makes it even healthier because it's taking out the sugar. And then
Yes,
for
yes.
those who don't take sugar, then they can use this powder instead
Mm-hmm.
of sugar. Okay, so before you go, I'd like for you to speak to those who are reluctant to start a business, especially in value addition. In processing, a lot of people are very, very reluctant. I think especially now, the way Nigeria is, what will you say to those people who are waiting for something? Yeah, they're waiting for everything to be okay before they start adding value to product.
Hmm. There's there's a saying that came to me sometime when I started this. It says, you would you never know how far you can go until you start.
Hmm.
I would say just start where you are. Just start with what
Hmm.
you have. You know, I look back at the day that my sister made that statement, and I said, why don't you sell this thing? Other people would like
Hmm.
it too. And
Hmm.
what I did that immediately, in fact, I keep looking back and I said, that is the only reason, that's one of the main reasons why we're here today. As
Hmm.
soon as she made that statement, I had just bought a mudu. A mudu of dates is like maybe about 1 kg or 1.5 kg thereabouts.
Hmm.
So I immediately called my son. My last baby was about 8 years at that time, and I told him, I just gave it to myself. I started breaking the dates
Hmm.
immediately. I didn't waste time. I had bought it to just do our normal paste. So I told him to break it, and I now started putting it in the sun to see how it would be dry, and that was how we started. So if you
Hmm.
don't start, you don't know how far you can go. That's the truth. You will never know how far you can go if you don't start. So I would say, yes, I know the terrain is a lot more difficult, is much harder, is much, what will I say? But again, even those that started, I started in 2018. So let's say those that started business like maybe in 2000, I'm sure the terrain was easier or better than when I started in 2018. So
Hmm.
it may never get easier. That's the truth.
Easier.
So you
Yeah.
just need to start and trust God and put one step in front of the other every day, showing up, doing what you can, doing the best that you can every single day, putting in the work, and just trust God, and it will turn out well eventually.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
that's
Thank you
my
so
belief.
much.
That's my belief. Thank you so much for
Thank you
having
so
me.
much. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Mhm.
Thank you for that word of advice.
Mhm.
So start. You never know how far the journey may take you. And just think about the number of people that this product has been able to help. You could have decided that it was just for your kitchen and for your own house. You would have, there were many reasons for you not to start. But
Mhm.
then you have started now and the journey has taken you to a lot of places. Thank you so,
Even
so very
even
much.
I am
It has been.
amazed. I am amazed at where I am, because when I started, I had no clue that
Hmm.
it could be like this. I had absolutely no clue. Absolutely,
Hmm.
absolutely no clue. Let me
Hmm.
just share briefly that I am in the US on a. We came for what they call the Summer Fancy Food Show, and we
Hmm.
were selected by USAID to
Hmm.
be a part of the African Foods Pavilion. In
Hmm.
fact, it's like the biggest trade fair I've ever seen in my entire life. It had over 2,000, close to 3,000 vendors from across the
Wow.
world. From across the world.
Hmm.
So, so when I look back, I'm like, oh, this little cup of this that I started with, this is what it has become. So
Hmm.
really, if you're out there, just start. You don't know how far you can come until you start. That's the truth. If you don't start, you don't
Hmm.
know where you can get to. So I just thought to
Wow.
share that. Because even me, right now, I'm still, my mind is blown by how far we've come.
Hmm.
Um, we were nominated for the MSME Awards that took
Hmm.
place yesterday. No, on
In
Thursday
Abuja.
in
Yeah.
Abuja. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
we didn't win in our category, but I'm grateful to God. I was nominated by
Wow.
someone in Canada who called me. I was like, I can see you on TV. What's going on? What's going? I didn't even, So you don't really know how far you can go until you start. That's the truth. That's the
Wow.
truth.
Wow. Wow. Thank you
I just
so
thought to share
much.
that.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing, and thank you so much for joining us this evening. Please help me appreciate Macaurius Ville in the comment section, She's doing a great job of value addition, and she's bringing healthy foods to your table, one product at a time, from one product to 8 products, and others still coming as
Yes.
you request. Follow her on IG, order her products within and outside Nigeria. Take advantage of distributorship opportunities. You can be her distributor in whatever part of the world that you are in. Just send her a message, and I'm sure she'll be happy to oblige you. Thank you so very much, Ma, for joining us again.
Thank you.
I'm so glad that we could have you here this evening. Thank you, thank you, thank you. For
Thank you
everyone who
too.
has joined us this evening, thank you for joining our live. We'll be back next week, Saturday, with other value added products from Africa. My name is Adetokunbo Adewanyi, and till I come back next week, I'll encourage you to think African and buy African. Please enjoy the rest of your evening and see you next week. Thank you so much, Ma. Good night, Ma. Thank you,
Yes.
everyone.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye. Thank you. Good
Bye.
night.
Bye. Bye. Bye.